I stole someone's GF in high school and I'm just now reflecting and realizing how hurtful and wrong it was. I can't say your name but wherever you are, I'm sorry man. Characters: me, Sam, my GF, Steve, GF's ex, Cassie, GF's friend. I am 30 now. This was years ago. Background info. First off, I know how this post sounds. I was not popular. I was not a Casanova. Really quite the opposite. This was my only successful relationship before adulthood. Story starts at the end of my junior year of high school. There's a girl in my class that I really liked for a couple months. We'll call her Sam. I was zero for a lot at that point when it came to asking girls out. But she was moving schools next year, so I did what was a kamikaze move for me and gave Sam my number as she left on the last day of school before summer. I didn't have self-esteem issues or anything, but I knew my chances were low that she'd text me. Much to my surprise, Sam did text me the next day. This wasn't an insanely long time ago, but it was before smartphones fully took off, so we could only text and call. Anyway, we texted about very surface level stuff for the first 2 days, but it went well enough. On the third day, things changed. We decided to call instead, and it was my first time talking to a girl on the phone. Completely to my surprise, the call lasted 6 hours. We revealed almost everything imaginable to each other. All our secrets, all the things we like. Just everything was clicking. Sam even confided in me about her sadness of losing a loved one recently. I went to bed at 5 a.m. and I'm sure my parents wondered why I was tired for baseball the next day. Anyway, I was in disbelief that I'd actually had a super long talk like that with a girl I had a crush on. In the span of 24 hours we had started texting each other all the time and replying instantly. I thought we were about to go steady. Then one summer morning I get a text from Sam saying she felt sad and betrayed. When I asked why, guess what? She said her boyfriend went to an ex's house behind her back. Yup, her boyfriend, which she never mentioned and I didn't know existed. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. This whole time she thought we were just really close friends and wasn't even considering me a potential partner. That should have been my first red flag in hindsight. She had a boyfriend, yet she was having 6-hour phone conversations and telling all her secrets to me. We didn't directly do anything that would constitute cheating, but you know, the whole thing was sketchy. And I let it slide because I was 17 and dumb. I feigned sympathy for her and then I decided I was going into overdrive to get this guy out of my way. His name was Steve. Out of nowhere, I got this sick sense of entitlement about me. I started victimizing myself. I started thinking it's my turn to have dating success, no matter what. Like many young guys, I wanted a GF so bad it was the focal point of my existence. And now that was even more true with this situation. So I milked the situation. I kept having the phone calls with deep revealing conversations. I kept hanging out with her. I kept playing Dr. Phil for her. I kept showing her what a good guy I was. I was even at a viewing party she had at her house while Steve was there. Cassie, one of Sam's friends, sat close to me at that party for reasons I'll get to soon. Another week passed. And sure the hell enough, she finally gave me the chance I was looking for. One night on one of our phone calls, she told me she would have been happier with me instead of her Steve for the past year. And I knew this was it, so all I had to say was, do you think we can ever be together someday? And she finally said that we could. And that she'd break up with her BF the next day before we do any BF/GF stuff together, so it wouldn't be cheating. Home stretch of the story. Sam broke up with Steve the next morning with 4 weeks left of summer before our senior year started. And like I said, maybe because of my age or lack of maturity, I thought nothing about her, now ex-BF. I was beating my chest and shouting from the rooftops that I had finally gotten one over on life and had my first GF. I promise I'll tell the story of that relationship on another post if you guys want to know, but I won't try to bore you. But here's the kicker, a month or so later someone called me. It was Cassie. She asked if she could meet me at a movie theater. It was strange, but I had nothing else to do that day, so I went. Now I never knew Cassie that well, but I knew something was probably up. So I get to the theater. Cassie says, "Do you know why we're here?" And I said, "No, I don't." Cassie then sat in my car with me with the AC on as we talked. She told me that she was there because of what me and Sam had done to Steve. She informed me that Steve pretty much knew his time with Sam was running out and that she was in the process of leaving him for me. He started pulling out all the stops, getting her flowers, taking her on nice dates and being super sweet to her, even more than normal. Cassie referred me to the time she sat close to me at the viewing party as a way to help Steve keep me away from Sam. I started connecting the dots. She continued to say that after I left the party and Sam went to bed, Steve and Cassie talked on Sam's deck. Cassie said Steve broke down sobbing to her, saying that Sam is the love of his life and that I was close to successfully stealing her. He said he wanted to marry Sam from day one. Cassie urged him not to give up, but the last time Steve saw Sam, she broke up with him. He was hysterical and begged her to stay, but he didn't do anything physical or inappropriate. Then Cassie told me she met up with Steve. He was an emotional wreck and he said his future was over and he's going to be stuck alone in this town forever. She comforted him and let him cry. Cassie was a good person. It turns out Steve couldn't cope and he went to live with his father in another state. That's the last me or Sam heard about Steve. Cassie ended the meeting by saying it's your life. Do what you want. But when you and Sam are enjoying each other's company, just remember you had to destroy a person to get where you are. At this time, in my self-righteous 17-year-old angst, I forgot about this talk a week later because I took it as a personal attack. But here as a grown man, I've flashed back to this conversation all week and realized what I had done. I've had an epiphany. It was awful. I took away someone's future and it's probably the worst thing I've ever done. Steve, I'm not using your real name. But if you ever read this you'll undoubtedly know who you are. I just want to say I'm so sorry for derailing your life with the girl you loved. I'm sorry I broke you. I hope you found love and happiness. And I would undo all of this in a heartbeat if I could.